Hi, I want to invite you to participate in Book Bunch number 2. We're looking at 2 titles that total about 200 pages. The first title is Perelandra. That's a word that means Venus. Perelandra is an overlooked gem written by C.S. Lewis. He's famous for so many other titles. Somehow this one has kind of been swept under the rug or forgotten. It's as good as any of his other books. Perelandra is actually the middle book of what some call his space trilogy. But don't worry about not having read the first book or not reading the third book, because Perelandra stands on its own. There are, however, a few terms and characters that appear in the first book that it might be helpful to know them as you're getting into Perelandra. And so I made up a thumbnail list of those places and people and terms that you can use, and those are available at the Book Bunch website. Some people call C.S. Lewis's space trilogy science fiction. Technically, I don't call it science fiction, because science fiction is imaginative writing that's based on scientific knowledge and speculation. Well, at the time that C.S. Lewis wrote this in 1944, we knew nothing about the surface of Venus. Now we do, and so if you're comparing the truth of what Venus is like to what's described in the book, then it sounds like, well, he didn't know what he's talking about. But he wasn't trying to predict what space travel would be like. Instead, his space trilogy would be more accurately called cosmic fiction. Because you see, the stage is the cosmos. It's our solar system. The emphasis in Perelandra is God's rule over the planets and the intelligent beings whom he has created to live there. Now, I'll admit that some parts of the story are kind of slow-moving. Written in the 1940s, before there was much influence of film and television on writing, back in those days the emphasis in the story was tell, don't necessarily show what's happening. Now we're so influenced by films that the emphasis of writers today is show, don't tell. As a result, if you're looking for something that sounds like it was written yesterday, you're going to be disappointed. But stick with the first couple chapters, which are a lot of just telling of this happened and then that happened. Because when you finally get to Venus, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away by this fabulous, amazing environment that C.S. Lewis describes. And you're going to be amazed because you're going to arrive there on Perelandra at a key moment in history. And it's going to make literally all the difference in that world. Great literature, I've found, pits strong characters against one another, and the writer of the story brings those strong characters onto the same scene, and they duke it out as they discuss things or as they take action. That's what happens in this story. You're going to love it. Now, you notice that I haven't told you really any details of what's going to happen in this story. It's because I want you to be surprised at what you find on the planet of Perelandra. The second title that we're looking at is a much shorter book. It's only about 6 pages long. It's called Paul's Letter to the Ephesians. And I invite you to read it several times, as often as you want, while you're reading Perelandra, especially after you have finished the story. Why? Because Perelandra helps us think cosmically, vast, immense, infinite thoughts. I don't know about you, but when I try to imagine infinity, when I try to wrap my brain around it, it just gives me a headache. And if I try to imagine God and his infinite qualities, I get a migraine. But I've found there is no book, no novel I've ever read that matches Perelandra for exploring the infinite wisdom and glory of God. And when I read Ephesians, I see that also. Let's read Ephesians cosmically, picturing how it shows God's vast plan for his universe and our role in it. Wow, we're going to experience a lot on Perelandra. We'll see you there.